Hi everyone! Today, we're diving into a provocative and polarizing topic that asks a crucial question: is modern leftist ideology taking on cult-like traits? To explore this, we're looking at the characteristics commonly associated with cults, things like authoritarian control, isolation of members, extreme beliefs, exploitation, intolerance for questioning, and unreasonable fears, and seeing how these attributes may align with ultra-left behavior today. Before we begin, remember that we're here to foster healthy discourse. This isn't about condemning people with left-leaning values or saying that everyone who supports leftist causes is part of a cult. Rather, we're focusing on some trends, ideas, and extreme behaviors within parts of the ultra-left to see if they share cult-like traits. Let's dive in. In cults, leaders often exert tight, authoritarian control over their followers. They discourage dissent, leaving no room for accountability. If we look at certain ultra-left movements today, a similar trend can be observed. Let's take the reaction to the Hamas attacks on Israel on October 7th. Across the world, several leftist groups and individuals publicly supported the attacks without demanding accountability from Hamas for the atrocities committed against Israeli civilians, including women and children. Many have noted that Hamas leadership has amassed massive wealth, while ordinary people in Gaza live in deep poverty. Yet, no questions were raised, and any attempt to bring up this disparity is often met with silence or outright rejection from supporters. This unwavering loyalty to certain figures or causes, even when they engage in morally questionable actions, can look a lot like the blind loyalty we see in cults. Cults typically encourage their members to cut off from family and friends who may not share their beliefs. In the context of modern leftist ideology, similar behavior is increasingly common, especially in Western countries like the United States. Take, for example, political differences in families. It's not uncommon for people who support the Republican Party or hold conservative values to feel shunned by left-leaning friends or family. Social media has amplified this isolation, with people unfriending or unfollowing others for holding different views. In many cases, the act of canceling or ghosting individuals with opposing views is encouraged within certain leftist circles. By cutting off dissenting voices, these individuals find themselves in echo chambers, reinforcing a single narrative that allows no room for other perspectives. Cult members often adhere to extreme beliefs that outsiders might find irrational or extreme. Today, some ultra-left positions embrace similarly rigid dogmas. One of the most controversial topics today is the belief that children should have the autonomy to decide on life-altering medical transitions without parental consent. This position disregards traditional parenting roles and raises serious ethical questions. Critics who ask about the long-term impacts of these decisions, or who question the financial motives of pharmaceutical companies producing hormone blockers, are often silenced or labeled as bigoted. The rigid, almost religious-like adherence to such extreme positions aligns closely with the inflexibility found in cults. Exploitation is a hallmark of many cults, where leaders often benefit financially or socially at the expense of their followers. In modern leftist movements, we sometimes see similar patterns. For instance, climate activism, which advocates for critical environmental issues, has seen a surge of organizations and individuals making billions of dollars. While fighting climate change is essential, some question whether financial incentives drive certain activists and corporations as much as the cause itself. Another example includes certain corporations and celebrities who champion leftist causes in highly public ways, boosting their brands and profits. This use of a cause for financial or personal gain can mirror the exploitation seen in cults, where followers' devotion is monetized or used to achieve influence. One of the most telling signs of a cult is its intolerance for questioning or criticism. Ultra-left circles sometimes exhibit a similar attitude. Questioning certain policies, such as unrestricted immigration, gender identity issues, or the role of pharmaceuticals in gender transitions, often leads to being labeled as transphobic, xenophobic, or bigoted. This resistance to debate creates an environment where only approved narratives are allowed. Take, for example, the case of women athletes who have voiced concerns over sharing changing rooms with biological males identifying as non-binary. Rather than addressing these athletes' concerns, the response has often been to silence them or call them intolerant. This dismissal of genuine concerns stifles conversation and hinders meaningful dialogue, leading to an atmosphere of fear, where questioning is discouraged. Cults frequently rely on a narrative of impending doom or catastrophe to keep followers in line. In today's political landscape, it's not uncommon to see apocalyptic fears about the consequences of right-wing policies. A recurring theme in some leftist narratives is the idea that if right-wing leaders come to power, it would result in an apocalyptic end to social progress, human rights, and environmental safety. While legitimate concerns may exist about policy shifts, the extreme fears that are sometimes promoted lack nuance and seem designed to inspire a sense of perpetual crisis. This environment of fear reinforces the narrative that leftist ideology is the sole solution, similar to how cults warn their members about dire consequences if they ever leave the group. Cult leaders are often secretive about finances, rarely disclosing where donations go or how funds are used. In certain progressive movements, there is sometimes a similar lack of transparency. For example, many supporters are beginning to question where the funds raised by major activist organizations actually go. During the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, millions of dollars were donated by people eager to support the cause, but reports later emerged questioning how these funds were spent. Transparency around financial use is critical to fostering trust, and when leftist organizations fail to disclose financial details, it raises suspicions about exploitation. This secrecy echoes the behaviors seen in cults, where money flows to the top with little accountability. In conclusion, the similarities between some aspects of modern ultra-left ideology and cult-like behaviors are indeed intriguing. From authoritarian control, isolation, extreme beliefs, exploitation, intolerance for questions, fear-based narratives, and lack of financial transparency, there are patterns that resonate with traits often associated with cults. As society moves forward, it's crucial to encourage open dialogue, allow room for questioning, and demand transparency to ensure that any movement, regardless of political orientation, remains accountable and free from cult-like behaviors. Let us know your thoughts on this topic in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation respectful and thoughtful. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.